Beyond the Backboard podcast for you with my co-host Matt Hanifan. How you doing today, Matt?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good. We're doing tiers today, our second tier list. I don't remember when the last one we did. It was like a couple months
Forever
ago.
ago? Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
forever ago.
it was at least a couple of months ago before the tournament, which is now over a month.
I
Over a month.
actually have a screenshot, I believe, of what we ended up with.
I wonder if it's going to be similar.
I wonder. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up so that we can have a reference. And I do have it. I'm going to share it on screen for the audience so they can understand what we did. Let's run through it really quick. Share screen. Remove. And share. Boom. Boom. There it is. Should I zoom in? Probably.
I forgot we had the big R in the I.
Yeah.
Last time. Yeah.
We're super professional around here. Very, very professional.
Yeah. For some reason, it's saved like that.
Yeah. So we have Cooper Flag on the S tier last time. We had Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Kasparis Yakachonis, VJ Edgecombe, and Trey Johnson on the regular S tier. So we had S plus and S. We had Kaman Malawach, Con Knipple, Sorber, Asa Newell, Boogie Fland, Nolan Traore on the A tier. Denman, Queen, McNeely. That's not Powell. That's Ian Jackson, who went back to school. Tahad Pettiford, Fleming, Cam Jones, Noah Osengay on the B tier. The C tier, we had Colin Murray Boyles, Janai Broom, Kanan Catchings, who went back to school, Jeremiah Fears, LeBaron Philon, Danny Wolf, Matt Hanifan's favorite, Ryan Kalkbrenner on the C tier. And then rounding out our tiers list on the D tier, we had Drake Powell, who's actually staying in the draft, which is odd.
For now.
For now. Will Riley, Neek Clifford, J2 Toppin, who hightailed it back to the NIL money. And I don't even know who this last picture is, to be honest.
That's not Isaiah Evans, is it?
It might be Isaiah Evans. It might be.
I can't remember.
Might be Isaiah Evans. But anyway,
I just saw the blue on the jersey.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because, like, if you look at he and Coop's jersey,
that's Duke blue too.
Yeah, so. It's the same thing that like he and Coop, Malawach, Knipple.
Yeah, that's Evans. Detective Matt Hanifan at your service. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, so that was our tiers list. I think it's going to change quite a bit. Not a ton, but there's going to be players that are shuffled around for sure. But we'll keep this for reference at the end of the pod. And let me bring back up our new tiers list. I forgot we need to add a couple of categories. We need to add a S tier, right?
Or no, we didn't. We need to add an S plus.
Yeah, we need to add an S plus.
I think
Super Saiyan.
So respectfully, I think Coop deserves his own tier.
Respect my authority. There it is. Boom. Wait, why does this say new? Delete that. Get out of here. How'd you get here? Delete row. All right. Oh, I know, because I changed the regular S one. Actually, that's user error on my part. So this needs to go back to regular S.
It's still, the image is still up on my screen.
I know. Hold on. And then
okay, I didn't know if you
add row above, and then it's just how. Wait, what? What? Now let me just click on this one. There we go. S plus. This makes for great radio / viewing.
You're right.
But here, it's there. And now I can share my screen with confidence. Boom. Boom. Bam. We're back.
Sweet.
And I don't mean bam out of bio. We can even do live poll to get our community to vote who should be next. We got to do that one of these times.
Yeah.
Let the community build a tiers list. All right. Wait, there's a pause, rewind, and sync up button. What? Oh, that's for live games. For the chat when they're like, you're 3 hours ahead. I love playback. They're always adding new stuff. I actually really like playback. Yeah, let's get this party started. So, Cooper Flag, in your opinion, if I can find his picture.
6th one.
There it is. Boom. Coop. S+. Super S ranked ninja. Anything you'd like to add to that, or it speaks for itself?
I think it speaks for itself.
All right. Cooper Flag. On the regular S tier, just below Cooper Flag, who you got?
So you and I have talked about there's roughly 5 to 6 guys who could potentially change your franchise's trajectory depending on the situation that they fall into.
Right.
And so now that we have one of them on the board, I think there's a firm 5 or maybe even 4, depending on how you want to slice the pie.
Yeah.
It's Ace, it's VJ, not in any particular order. It's Ace, it's VJ, it's Trey Johnson, and it's Dylan Harper.
Okay, so we got Ace.
And again, in no particular order.
Right. No, I'm just trying to pick these guys out of a lineup, so to speak. VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson. Where's Dylan? He's here somewhere. There he is. All right, so we have... I don't have any qualms with that. VJ is the best athlete in this draft, but I am starting to have questions. I know that people have said, I've heard Brian in particular, Brian Fonseca, say his Olympic team experience was more impactful in his eyes, which I didn't quite agree with, because I remember watching the Olympics. He was good. He's very good. Very, like, you could see the upside.
It was the qualifiers.
Yeah, and the athleticism. But I still didn't see the polish I needed in terms of getting wherever he wanted, like off the bounce. Like, he doesn't really do that. But once he gets to where he needs to go, he can get there in the blink of an eye, and he can take off in a blink of an eye and you finish, put that rim pressure on. His measurables to me are going to be very important. I'm really interested what his wingspan is and what his hand size is going to be. But I do agree with you. I think they're all on that same tier. Without ranking them at this point, I kind of want to. I kind of want to put Jason Pettiford like right up there with them, kind of.
No, I'm not doing that.
No. I don't. But I'm saying, like, it's like consolation prizes. They're not bad, but yeah, I can't either. I can't do that either. So I'm gonna start with the A tier, and I'm gonna go Pettiford. I'm gonna go Con. Where's Jace? There he is, Jace. And I'm actually gonna go Thomas Sorber because he's my second
6'1" on the bottom row.
Yes, but he's my second favorite big in the class. You said second one where? Oh, there he is.
He's 5th on the bottom row.
Yeah, I'm blind, dude. That's okay. Is there anybody else? Oh, Asen Newell, I think needs to be in the A tier. Jeremiah Fears needs to be in the A tier. Kasparas Yakichonis needs to be in the A tier. And that is it for me. Anybody else you have in the A tier? Or anybody you want to remove from that A tier?
I was going to say, that's a lot of people for an A tier.
It is. It is.
But I do like all of them. That's the hard part. It's just like, what's the line of delineation?
Right.
Of an A tier versus like an A minus B plus.
I agree, man. I agree.
Like, what's the line of delineation? I think we could keep that. I mean, again, for the viewers, no particular order. So it's not doesn't mean we have Tahad Pettiford over Yakachonis or whatever, or like definitively.
Correct.
Just because,
and I love Tahad Pettiford. I love Todd
Correct.
Pettiford's game, man. His measurables are going to be very important as well. When we talk about like how things could change, like if Todd Pettiford is 6'1", which we think he is, and he has short arms and small hands, we're back to Rob Dillingham.
Yeah. If I were to, I don't like doing this because I like this player. I think I had him 13th on my big board. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
If I were to knock a player down, it would be Sorber.
See, if I was going to knock a player down, it would be Newell before Sorber.
Well, I would. For me, it'd either be Sorber or Pettiford because the foot injury.
Foot injury is a big
I
deal,
don't
man.
know what to do with that. I like him as a player, no question about it. You and I both do. And then Pettiford is just because of the size.
Yeah.
That's literally the only, and it's not like there's not.
Right.
But if I were to draw a line of like a line in the sand, that's where I'm drawing it.
Matt
But
Hanifan, are
if
you
we're
arguing
finding
the point
this-
that size matters?
Yes.
So am I.
But that's really the only, like, if I were to knock a couple players down from the A
Right.
tier. That's a lot of A-tier players. Not to say that they're all not deserving.
Right.
But there is a lot of A-tier players.
No doubt. What's up, Martel? How are you doing today? Thanks for checking in on YouTube, man. I appreciate you. Hope everything's going well. We're just doing some tiers for fears, is what we're doing. So let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe what you think as we hash this out. Now, this B tier to me is actually going to be quite tough because there's some players that people have going very, very high in this draft that I don't even know if they're going to make the B tier. And I'm looking right at you, Colin Murray Boyles. Staring at you. On the B tier, let's start off with a talented player, but we're not quite sure what the league is going to think of him. And that is Nolan Troy. Nolan Troy goes on the B tier because of his high level facilitation ability. He's already run a pro style system in Europe and he's done it very well. He just doesn't shoot well at the rim and he doesn't shoot well from three. And he's tiny. So that worries me for his NBA prospects. Ben Sorber. I love Thomas Sorber, dude. Ben Seraph. I love Ben Seraph. Ben Seraph for me is borderline A tier, but I just think he's a cut below. Actually, now I'm making the case for Pettiford and Jace to be on the B tier because they're like just above Ben Seraph for me. That positional size, 6'5", 200, lightning quick, great off the dribble. I don't know, man. Great offensive feel for the game. I guess we'll leave it where it's at. But anyway, we put LeBaron Philon in this tier. I think I could put Nick Clifford in this tier. Cam Jones in this tier. I don't know why Philon's on here twice. Derek Wolf.
Danny Wolf.
Danny Wolf? Because I looked at Derek Queen. I was like, why did I say Derek Wolf? Anybody else that belongs on this B tier in your opinion? Or anybody you want to take off?
I was going to take Philon off.
So Philon comes down to the C tier.
I have him a smidge below those other guys.
All right, so Seraph, Traore, Clifford, Cam Jones, Danny Wolf. Anybody else? Liam McNeely do anything for you? Derek Queen do anything for you?
Carter Bryant, Fleming.
Well, where is Fleming? I forgot about that guy.
Well, okay, he'll be there in our hearts.
I have him somewhere. I definitely have a picture of him. Hold on. Wait, what just happened? Oh, that's reorder. I don't want to do that. I want to go back. Again, hopefully it didn't reset everything that we just did.
I'm afraid it may have done that.
Yeah, well, Fleming's definitely here somewhere. There he is. Sure, Fleming. Boom. Added. And submit. Nope, it kept it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Woo woo. All right, so Fleming, I actually go. Yeah, I think Fleming could. Yeah, Fleming's a solid B. He's a
Would you
solid B.
have Derek Queen in this tier?
I think I would.
I think I would too.
Yeah, I think I would. As much as because the issues that we think that both Queen and Colin Murray Boyles is going to have at the next level, I think that offensive game is enough to get him a solid B.
Yeah, right.
So what does that do to Colin Murray Boyles for you?
He's not in the B tier. Are you asking should he be in the C tier?
I'm asking if he should be in the B tier. What about Janai Broom?
No.
Boogie Fland?
No.
Carter Bryant?
Oh yeah, Carter Bryant. I thought I said his name.
Maybe you did and I ignored you. Noah Osingay.
You know more about him than me, so I'll defer to you.
I don't think he should be in the B tier. I mean, he's very talented. He has a high upside, but I think he's more of the LeBaron Philon tier. There's a lot of parts of his game he needs to iron out. So I would put him in the C tier. I think the B tier is done. That's a lot of people in the B tier.
It's same as the A tier.
Yeah, but I'm more
each.
I'm more sold on the A tier than I am the B tier. Is like, should they be there? Like, should Nick Clifford really be in the B tier? Nolan Troy. I knew. The
Nick
most
Clifford,
shocking answer ever
from me.
The most shocking answer ever from Matt Hanifan.
Yes,
humongous thumbs up. Yeah.
What was the other one you asked? Troy. I would think about putting him in like
small, man.
The B minus C plus. Yeah, he's small.
All right, let's work on this C tier. So Demeen goes into C tier. Broom goes into C tier. Boyles in the C tier. Osingay in the C tier.
Boogie.
Oh, definitely Boogie. Boogie's in that C tier. Borderline B to me. So we got Osingay and Colin Murray Boyles twice on our list for some reason.
You mean Philon?
Yeah, and Philon. I think it duplicated some people.
So nice you can say it twice.
There it is. Name so nice you can say it twice. Does Proctor make the C tier?
Yes.
I think so. Barely. I think he barely makes it. His shot making ability this season's been off the charts. Like, it's been off the charts for Duke, like all season. He was one of those guys that like really held that offense together anytime they needed it. Like him and Con Knipple.
I'll be honest. I have Tyrese above Liam, Yeager, Colin Murray Boyles.
Tyrese who?
Proctor.
Oh, so Tyrese Proctor.
Yeah, so I definitely would have him in this.
I'm never taking a nap before a podcast again. My brain is still asleep. Holy crap. We were just talking about Proctor. I'm like, Tyrese who?
Yeah, those are the players. I also have him over Nolan on my.
So you're advocating for Nolan Troy, or are you advocating for Proctor to be on the B tier?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a tough question. Shout out Alex Toledo.
Yeah. Shout out Helicopter.
Yeah. I think we dropped Nolan a tier. I am more comfortable with that.
Nolan goes down a tier.
Yeah.
And you keep Proctor where he's at.
Yeah. I think in my brain, in my puny brain, I'm more comfortable with that.
All right. So we got one tier left, which is the D tier. And that would be Ryan Kalkbrenner. Are we that low on Liam McNeely?
I was just about to say that I'd think about putting him in the C tier.
Will Riley, Drake Powell, Isaiah Evans. So anybody outside of Liam McNeely, do you think they have any consideration to be moved up a tier?
Here, let me full screen because I have my big board on another. Let's
Ooh, Matt Hanifan's really dialing it in now.
Up a tier?
Yeah.
I guess the first name that pops to mind, he's kind of in another like in this like tweener range between S and A. Con Knipple.
Yeah. I agree.
Like to me, the names that he's with in the A tier, I'm comfortable putting him above. But in the
Not
S tier,
quite.
he's the ones that I put him below. So like to me,
Right.
he's kind of in like that. Like he's literally sandwiched in between those.
Should
Kind of
we
the same
make him
with
his own tier? The Con Knipple tier.
yeah, the Con Knipple tier. The other one I feel about that, I feel the same about that as Yaka Jonas.
You think he's borderline S tier?
Yeah, but
I
he's
do,
not
I do too,
S tier.
actually.
So like exciting whites tier? No. Like that's kind of like where my brain's at. We could probably keep him in the same spot we have him now. But
We
that's
could,
just
or we could make another tier. It's up to you.
no, I'm not trying to get canceled.
Oh man, W2
Uh,
tier.
and then the other one,
We got to move. Let's start with Liam McNeely. Let's move him
yeah,
where he should go.
I would think Liam is in the C tier.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
That is.
We got a lot of people in that C tier.
Again, some of these guys are just sandwiched in these tiers.
Yeah. We can move Carl Murray Boyles down a tier.
No, let's be nice to him.
I hope
also
he seems like a great kid. I hope he does well, but I just don't see it.
I'm inclined to put Janai below in that 5th tier.
Yeah, in the D
too.
tier.
Like
Yeah.
if we're talking, I know you asked me about putting guys up, but I'm
Yeah, I
putting
mean, you
guys
can move
down.
guys down. Because I think Janai Broom's going to struggle in the NBA. Like, I really do. I think his lack of his post ability isn't great. Like, his post ability consisted of going to the wing, taking people off the dribble, and then using that footwork. And that footwork's only going to get you so far. But I mean, what are we expecting out of Broom? Like career backup, like a contributor on a good team,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah, like because I think his rim protection and his ability to rebound and whatnot, like that's what's going to get him on the floor.
Correct.
But I don't know if there's a ceiling high enough to where I think he's like a start, like a starter for a sustainable amount of time.
Does he have the vertical athleticism in the NBA like he did in college? Because I don't see him being able to finish at the rim the way he did in college.
I don't think it'll be as good. I think it'll be fine though. Like his finishing, I think will be passable, but it's not like
right
overwhelmingly great or like detrimental to your team.
So like picture early role as like a Khalil Ware type where he's just a P&R rim roll guy.
I don't think he's a rim runner.
Exactly.
I don't think he's a rim runner.
Do you think his 3-point shot will translate to the NBA?
What was his? Hold on, let me look up his free throw numbers again.
Dude, I don't think it will. I don't like his form at all, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of people like we saw what happened to Brooke Lopez.
Brooke. How long did it take him to work that out though? Like it wasn't till like 10 seasons in.
I was gonna say it took him a long time.
10 or 11 seasons
It
in.
took him a long
Like,
time.
if he wasn't 7-foot mountain of a person, like, he wouldn't have had so many chances to work on it. Like, he would have been
Yeah.
bounced out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, because I think with Broom, there's like a baseline level of production to where like I think he'll be like a decent role player, but there are
Yeah.
parts of his game where I think they're just limited enough. And as like if we're just talking about a pure prospect,
Right.
I don't, I'm not as high on him as the other names that are mentioned in similar tiers. And so it's like that's where he can still be a good NBA player, but I'm just not putting him in the same tier as
Right.
like
You
Tyrese
know who
Brown.
should be on this list that I think is actually going to be like in that C tier? Is that Joan Behringer?
Okay,
I think he could be
sure,
borderline
upside.
that C tier, man. Like he's he reminds me a lot of Yves Misi
Yeah,
in the fact that like that he's raw, but he's got really good feet. He's got good instincts. He's good around the basket. And he hustles all the time.
yeah,
Like he reminds me of that, but not nearly at like Misi's got some of the best feet that I've seen for like a big in a long time. Like he doesn't have that level of footwork, but also he has this body that looks like it's going to be able to add like 20 to 25 pounds of muscle. Like he
right.
looks like he's going to be able to be really strong. So yeah, I think Joan Behringer, I think he's a guy that would be on that C tier for me if
Sure.
we
Yeah.
expanded it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Cool. Anything else that you want to talk about on
Th
this tiers list?
There's another omission that I completely blanked on, like, pre-show that I wish we had on here, that I would probably put in the D tier or C tier, but Walter
Mhm.
Clayton.
I thought about it, so I stared at his name. Remember when we were doing pre-show prep, which our pre-show prep is like 5 minutes of just, you want to do this? You want to do that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So our 5 minutes of pre-show prep, I was staring at his name, and we were like, "Well, we're not going to do all 30." And I was like, all right." And so I didn't save his picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walter Clayton Jr. is so interesting in the fact that like I'm actually really, for my own analysis, I want to know, can an NBA player of his size translate on that tough shot diet? Like his shot diet is so incredibly difficult in college, like cannot translate in the NBA. And I don't know if it can. I mean, it might because he shot an incredible percentage. Like his percentages were incredible. But if
Yeah.
you go back and just look at what types of shots he was taking, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
those are bad shots.
See, that's why, again, like, I've been steadfast. I know I think you're a little higher on him than me.
Yeah,
I've been pretty steadfast and, like, I just wouldn't take him in the first round.
right. And whenever he says I'm a little bit higher, I'm like 25 and below.
You're right, yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit higher, 5 spots
Yeah, like,
higher.
I would like yeah, if I was a team and if I had at least another pick in the first round or maybe even second,
Right.
and if I'm at, like, 5 and I'm like, "Okay," depending on how else the board falls, sure,
Yeah.
I would take a chance on Walter Clayton, but other than that, I'm like, there like, when I tweeted out after this is going into our Heat stuff here.
Right.
After I tweeted out, like, names of, like, players that the Heat should consider 20 after, we found out that they would be the 20th pick because of that, dumb little tiebreaker, the Golden State thing.
Right.
I didn't tweet out Walter Clayton Jr.'s name, and I remember I think I had people in my mentions and whatnot, like being like, "What about Walter Clayton?" And that's been like pretty consistent throughout the pre-draft. Like,
Right.
whenever I would tweet someone's name or whatever about like a prospect I like, they would be like, "What about Walter Clayton?" I understand a good portion of that is probably because of like the South Florida type deal.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people who live in Miami or who are Heat fans who are also like either like Florida alumni or
You know
fans
how
of
it
Florida.
goes. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And so like that, I understand that perspective of it, but it's just like I personally, I wouldn't take him at 20, and I just wouldn't take him. Like maybe I can talk myself into like one of the last couple of picks, like
Right.
maybe. But other than that, I'm just like, it again. All of this is dependent on who else is available.
Correct. And it's kind of also what your team needs when you're picking that late in the draft.
Sure, right.
Like, if you need a bench scorer and that's what all he's going to be, definitely, sure. He's going to play against backup point guards where he can jack up crazy shots because that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And be that Patty Mills type. Yeah, sure. You could take a chance on that. But yeah, it's going to be tough, man.
I mean, how many names do we have on here? Like, there's about 30 names, if not 30. Like,
Oh
I
my
don't.
God, we got 33.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, again, I think you can put him in that. You can maybe even put him in the C tier, if not D tier. Like, there's arguments
Wow.
for both, and we're obviously splitting hairs with a lot of these guys in these tiers, and so it's like
For sure.
you can move a bunch of these players up and down depending on how you feel about them.
Right. And we didn't even get into like how we would rank them. Like,
Right, yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I wouldn't take him in the first. And I like the player, but
right.
dude, tough shot takers. There's like a part of me in my mind is just like, I know it's a comfort thing.
Especially 6'2", 6'3" tough shot maker.
Yeah, like I just kind of wish they didn't take those kinds of shots as much
I
as
tell
they
you what, the
do.
one thing I like about him though, that could be a saving grace. He can get downhill in a hurry.
Sure. Yeah.
He's fast. Now, he's not very quick side to side laterally, doesn't have a lot of wiggle, but once he decides to get downhill, he gets downhill in a hurry. And so, if a team can get him to run a system and be like, get downhill or shoot wide open threes, like if he can fix that a little bit, facilitate a little bit, maybe you'll have something. But I just think you're going to have to let him play his game. It's going to be hard to coach that out of him.
Right.
Especially because he's an older prospect. It's not like he's 18 years old.
Right.
Cool, man. Well, I don't really have a lot. We can make this a quick show. I'm really excited about the draft lottery because then we can start doing actual mock drafts that would be interesting. Because until you know the order, like, what's the point? Like, you have a different first round pick every day. Oh, the Utah Jazz or Charlotte Hornets or.
I'm gonna say this here and now. I think the Jazz get the number 1 pick.
Oh, the fix is in, Matt Hanifan.
I think the Jazz get the number 1 pick. Man, listen, we've seen what Danny Ainge does with the no, it's the Utah Jazz. Cooper Flag, you're going to Utah.
This makes a lot of sense. Him and Kyle Filipkowski. Makes all the sense in the world. They trade back up for Colin Knippel. Is that what you're saying?
Do they have 2 picks?
I don't know. Let's check. Tankathon. They have the 21st pick.
Yeah, Colin Knippel, Cooper Flag.
They'd have to trade back up if they want Con. He'll be long gone.
They have Tankathon has Fleming going to the Heat.
I saw that.
Sure.
But Ben Seraph and Utah with Coop, that'd be a great little combo for a long time.
They would just have to trade Sexton and probably Clarkson.
Well, they definitely trade Sexton, right? Keontae, I think they like, but
yeah,
he's so little.
I think he is. Yeah, he could play with Seraph, though. I think.
Oh, he could. Yeah, he definitely could. They can make it work. But what are you going to do with Collier? Because you still have Collier.
Oh yeah. Well, again, you get it and you figure it out.
You figure he's just BPA, man.
If you're at 21, you're in that range where if it's like you're in like the 20 to 30s, especially like once you get into like the late 20s.
Right.
Like this is kind of like you're drafting for depth depending on who you are.
Yeah.
Especially considering most of those teams are going to be like, some of the best teams in the league. Like they're not looking for like a high end starter.
Right.
Especially right away. Like you're looking for a guy who, can contribute off the bench maybe within his first couple of years and be like a productive role player hopefully a long-term starter. That'd be if you get a long-term starter in that range, you definitely did something right.
Right.
So like Seraph in his instance going to a bad team just with another pick. I think they could still make that work with Collier and whatnot. But you're in that range where you're just like probably would lean best player available. You get the talent, you figure it out after.
Yeah. Because you could always trade somebody else. Like Collier's going to have value around the league, especially since he's shown he can lean into facilitating.
Yeah.
Although
if they don't trade him
turnovers
this
were a bit of a
offseason
problem.
and future summers or deadlines or whatever.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, that's it for us today, guys. Matt Hanifan, tell the people where they can find you, follow, and get more of your work.
You can find me at NPH_824_ on Twitter. You can find me at hoops.com, VendettaSportsMedia.com, MountainWestConnection.com, as well as playback.tv/5RSN. The Heat season's over. So
Shocker.
We will be doing NBA stuff though. Like we will be watching other teams, as the playoffs continue. Most of the first round series are still going on. At this point. The draft
not
is
LA's first round series is
well, listen, one LA team.
Road Jack.
I still can't believe Jackson Hayes got shelved when Rudy Gobert. I saw I didn't look at the box score or anything until the end of the game, and I was watching the second half of it.
Right.
And then they showed the Rudy Gobert graphic of he had 24. I was like, he had 24 rebounds. It's it felt like he had a lot, but 24 rebounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway. Yeah, so we'll be watching more of those as time goes on, especially once the conference finals and the NBA finals. I'm sure we'll be doing stuff with that in addition to we'll be doing the draft on there. Adele and I are going to be reacting to the Heat drafting Colin Murray Boyles at 20th overall.
Matt Hanifan, no!
And you could also find me at playback.tv/hoops profile, which we're at.
Absolutely. We're at right now. And I'm Digital Adele. You can find me on all social media channels under that moniker, as well as where Matt Hanifan said, playback.tv/5RSN and playback.tv/hoops profile. I'll see you next time.